Can you recall like the lowest moment during the last few months where you just felt maybe the lowest you were or the most devastated at what had happened?
Probably just laying in the hospital room, when this thing, probably the lowest moment was getting care from Canada. I hate to bash them, but, not to get in the political side of things, but our healthcare system is a little radical, but listen, we've got the best doctors, I believe, in the world here. We've got, our system is it does need some restructuring, but I don't believe a total reform is the answer. And obviously,
what did they want to do to you?
They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't do nothing for me. It was like I was in a third world country. I just looked at my wife and she saved my life and I had to get out of there. I don't want to, I'm just stating the facts here, and that's the facts. I love Canada. I own property in Canada, and, but if I had to choose between getting care in Canada or the United States, I definitely want to be in the United States. Canadians, don't get me wrong here, but listen, I love Canada, some of the best people and best hunting in the world, and that's, I have family up there, but I wasn't at the right facility, and and it makes sense for me to say that.
Did you guys disobey doctor's orders and just walk out of the hospital and make a dash for the border? Or?
Yes, I knew that I had to get out of there. Yep, and my wife saved my life. She got me out of there and drove 100 miles an hour to get me down to Bismarck, North Dakota, to Med Center 1, and got me with Dr. Bruderer and his staff at Med Center 1, and that doctor there saved my career and saved my life.
With the Canadian Press.
Yes, congratulations on your recovery, Brock. Just following up on the last question, where exactly were you in Canada? What province were you in?
I'm not going to disclose anything. I don't want, the only reason I'm mentioning this to the United States of America because President Obama is pushing this health care reform, and obviously I don't want it. I'm a conservative Republican, and I'm glad to see that finally the state of Massachusetts has got a Republican, we got the Republican seat up there. And I'm speaking on behalf of Americans. I'm speaking on behalf of our doctors in the United States that don't want this to happen, and neither do I.
I guess I'm just wondering, you pointed the finger at Canadian healthcare. It was one piece of Canadian healthcare you saw. Can you tell us what it was?
I'm not going to mention anything anymore about it. You know what? The main thing is I'm sitting here, I'm healthy, and I got the right care that I needed to do. I think it was just under the circumstance, the hospital that I was at, it wasn't their fault. They had some machinery that wasn't working, that couldn't do its job, and I needed to have it done. And so we went to where we could have it done.
And if I can just add, was there a time you said you went to the doctor, you went back to the gym, and then you went to the doctor January 5th? Was there any time before the January 5th when they gave you the clean bill of health? Were you feeling good before then? Was there a time?
I started to feel better, but there's always this. When two major hospitals tell you that you have to have surgery, I mean that it's a peace of mind. It's one of those things where, listen, I'm going to have surgery, and then to go back and to have the colonoscopy done, and for them to not find a trace of anything. This all sounds real. I mean, you guys, this thing's probably going to take on a whole beast of its own, where people are going to say there's no way that's possible. But listen, coming from the Mayo Clinic, coming from some of the best doctors in the world, people fly from all over the world to come to this hospital and to meet with these people. I mean, when I'm in the hospital, I'm seeing people from China, from India, from you name it, Germany. I mean, we have the best hospital in the United States at the Mayo Clinic.
Oh, I'm sorry to end with this one. Hello again, guys. Rock, I think I drew the short straw and have to ask you one tough question, which is that you've talked about the Canadian healthcare system, but it seems from the history you're giving that you were actually misdiagnosed first in the U.S. And do you think that there was a problem when you initially went in and they told you you had mono or flu or something like that?
Well, it was my fault because they did want to do a CT scan on me.
Okay.
And I didn't want to do it. So that's my fault for being misdiagnosed. There wasn't a misdiagnosis. I did test positive, I believe, for mononucleosis, and I believe, I don't know where the hell I got that from. I got a lot of different training partners, but I have no idea if we all carry it in our body anyways, and maybe it was just because my body was trying to reach out. So, no, you know what? I'm not bashing the Canadian healthcare. I'm not bashing it at all. I'm a U.S. citizen. It just so happened I was in Canada. If I would have been in Thailand or Puerto Rico, I would want to get back to the United States, into my homeland, to get my health care, you know?
Right.
And the reason I'm saying this is because there's millions of Americans out there that don't want this health care reform to happen, and I'm one of them. I believe that our system here, we have the best health care system. Does it need some restructuring a little bit? Yeah, but not a total reformation. I'm not a believer in socialism, and I don't agree with what's going on. That's all I'm stating.
Now, there's a related issue that Dana and I actually discussed a little bit last week, which was about insurance. And there's a documentary coming out soon that talks about sort of lower-level MMA fighters trying to get started who have a difficult time getting insurance. Going through what you've gone through, and this must have...
I just opened a whole other can of worms here.
Sorry, Dana. This must have been... did this experience change how you feel about insurance or anything like that? And can you tell us how you're able to get insurance? Is that something you privately pay for, or is it through UFC?
I'm an independent contractor. You know, I mean, listen. Insurance is expensive, you know, and we rely on our insurance companies. Like I said, we need some restructuring here, but we don't need socialistic health care in America. But the most important thing is I was diagnosed. I had a correct diagnosis. The doctors in the United States gave me the best care possible. I'm 100%, and I'm going to be back in the octagon sooner than later.
Okay, well, thanks again. And the fiber, I can tell you, helped a lot of war veterans coming back from places where they got diseases like that. So best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for taking the time to call in today, and on such short notice. We appreciate it very much, and obviously we're all looking forward to seeing Brock back in the octagon. Have a great day. Thank you.